everybody. So, continuing to deburr all the pieces for the flaps. So someone had asked me about the Dremel pieces how to use. So what I use is, it's basically a chainsaw sharpening bit. It's a long barrel stone Dremel attachment that I use for the flanges. It's just the right diameter, basically a barrel, but it's just the right diameter that when placed between two flanges that are set apart, because most of the flanges will be about 1/8 of an inch to 3/16 of an inch apart, or split apart. That bit fits perfectly so that as you lay them between those two, it will deburr the edges to a nice roughly 45-degree angle. And the tip is basically, the tip winds up being rounded off as you start to use it. And that's great because that fits into into the flange ends where the holes are drilled round. It's kind of like a stop drill spot when you have a stop drill spot on plastic or fiberglass to keep a crack from going. They do the same thing for the area between the flanges, because as you bend flanges, it can bend the metal between them. So they just kind of drill the hole out between the two flanges so that as the flanges are bent, there's no extra stress. And that bit handles that job perfectly. So yeah, I just had a nice long session using the Dremel tool, and now I get on with the fluting. After you're done, now you take, so we were looking at the large flange pieces that I showed you for the, I'm going to call them the parallel flange pieces. At the same time, you also have doublers, which have the same top shape as those flanges in that they buttress up to the nose ribs, but at the same time, these are small and only do the nose ribs. So these are, they're just called doublers. So you have to deburr all of those and then cleco those up. You wind up drilling a couple of a match drill. You match drill in a couple places for number 40s, and then all of them have a 1/4 inch hole to match drill into the ribs. So you do that, you cleco them away. Then you go and you countersink the number 40 holes. Those are going to be set in place. So there's going to be a nut plate where that 1/4 inch is, and so the two number 40s around it are for the nut plate rivets, and you will countersink. I think the funniest thing with this video being sped up 20 times is when I'm just sitting there looking at my phone. You know, it's basically 3 seconds for a minute. And, you know, average human, you know, you breathe about 11 times a minute. So watching my chest rise and fall that quickly when I'm just sitting there, it's very funny. And creepy. So one thing about the flaps that I've noticed is that you do a lot of final drilling. You know, most of the time people, you don't bother, like in the parts before, you did a little bit of final drilling just as an exercise, but in this case, it's every number 40 and every number 30 hole in the ribs seems to need to get match drilled. And that's fine. You know, if that's what needs to get done, it needs to get done. And they tell you to do it, so I'm doing it. So, but you do wind up doing a lot, and I believe in the next video as well, I just go ahead and I set up a drill bit inside the drill press because it's just easier to do, highly repetitive drilling like that than it is to hold that crappy rechargeable. No offense to the rechargeable. Anyway, we'll continue this. Oh, there's the main ribs. So we'll continue this in the next video. See you.